Hello. It's been a while. Been too long, actually. Things have been chaotic. But welcome back to this, quite frankly, very special episode of the Uncensored podcast. Because, well, we have somebody here. Of course, we didn't advertise who was going to be on this one because we want to keep it a big surprise. I think I have a pretty good surprise. He's gone by many names. He's gone by many, many names. I know him as Cody, but you all would know him better as CJ. That's right. I have CJ here. Say hello, buddy. Say hello.
Hello.
Sounds different than he does, doesn't he? It's but okay. If anybody is coming here from UWA, welcome to your mind fuck. You're going to hear a lot of stuff that you don't know. This is juicy information that the public doesn't know. But I guess the first question I'm going to ask you, my friend, is how'd you get into wrestling?
Well, I started watching wrestling as a kid back in 2005 with my dad. We were watching I don't remember the first match I watched. I know it had something to do with Eddie. That's all I remember. And I was like, I looked at my dad. I was like, "What is this?" He goes, "Well, son, that's WWE." And I was like, "This looks awesome." And he goes, "Are you fucking serious?" At all things you want to get into? You want to get into that? I was like, well, yeah, it looks nice. Looks like people really kill each other in there. He goes, yeah, well, they do. And then, yeah, it kind of went on from there.
Who are some of your favorite wrestlers that you like growing up and right now?
Oh, I'm gonna get a lot of shit for the first one.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. Wait. Now, before he says this is not judged by personal character. This is judged by the wrestling ability of this man. Say his name.
Chris Benoit.
Chris Benoit. This is called Uncensored.
Like
Deal.
he's a piece of shit human, but like
Yes.
I just enjoyed his wrestling just
Oh
in
no.
general.
As a wrestler, he's like top 3. As a person, he's
Yes.
like not even in the top 100.
Not not even
Fuck
the
him, honestly.
slightest bit.
As a human being.
I will agree.
Who else?
Well, the obvious like Cena,
Mm-hmm.
Taker, Eddie. Shit. It's really all I can think of right now is mostly those guys. My dad, he was a big Undertaker fan, and he kind of set me down. He said, "Here, watch this guy." And I was like, "Okay."
He's scary.
I looked at him one time, and I literally almost shit my pants when he walked out. I'm like, "What is this?"
Especially like ruthless aggression Taker.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
now like growing up and shit, I'm like, I respect this man.
everybody respects Taker.
I don't know how you couldn't.
Okay, and this is kind of just like the general wrestling talk. We'll get to the UWA stuff in a little bit, but how about I want to ask you this?
Yes.
I'll do one Undertaker question, and then I'll do just a general question about wrestling. What
Mm-hmm.
in your opinion is Undertaker's best match? Because I have my answer, and I want to compare.
Oh man, his best match. Jesus
Mm-hmm.
Christ. I don't. I'm not okay.
There's a lot of them.
This is not his best match in my opinion. This is the one I have most memory of. It
Mm-hmm.
was Taker and Mankind. And Mankind fell off the fucking Hell in a Cell when he literally just fucking threw his ass off. I'm like, Jesus
That's
Christ, he died.
actually a very good choice.
Like I said, it's not my favorite, but it's one of my more memorable ones. I remember
Oh yeah, the
is
first
that
time
one.
I ever saw it, I was like, "Yeah, what?
Yeah, I'm like, did he? As I
Is
remember
he
watching it
dead?"
back, I was like, did he die? And now
And
looking
then
back at it now, I'm like, oh, I'm an idiot. He's walking around still living. I'm like, well, damn, I'm surprised.
now the second question about wrestling is, what is your personal favorite match of all time?
My personal favorite match of all time. Well, Got to remember which one it was. Okay, I think this is right. You can correct me if I'm wrong. It was the triple threat match between
Mm-hmm.
Shawn, Hunter, and Benoit for the world title at WrestleMania 20.
Which is a fantastic match that unfortunately gets overlooked for all the wrong reasons.
Yes, I remember watching that, and as I was like, I'm like a huge Benoit mark in ring wise. In ring wise, let me
He
specify
he
that.
he really is. By the
I
way,
remember seeing that, and I had like tears of joy. I said, "Thank God."
now let's get to the UWA stuff.
No, here we go.
So here's something that people do not know, and something that I will publicly say right here, right now. This man was the first guy that I asked.
Yep,
The
sure
very
was.
first person in January of 21 was the guy that I asked, and he said, "Okay,
Now I'm gonna explain this from my side when you
yes."
asked. When you asked the question because you're like, hey, I'm starting a wrestling promotion called UWA. Would you be willing to join? I was like, dude, I haven't wrestled in years, which I did wrestle when I was a kid, but none of that was ever filmed. We kind of just did that for like shits and gigs. Um, it took a while because I had to think about it. I have a fucked up left knee, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
do I really want to do this? But then I was like, I know this has always been Jake's dream of having a promotion, so I was like, yeah, fuck it, why not? I'll do it for him. And
And look at
here
the
we are
ride.
now.
Look at the
Yeah,
ride. Now,
yeah.
I guess it's kind of important to stress here that the journey of UWA, I've told it before, but now you're going to get to hear the true version from someone else's perspective. And we're not going to go month by month, but pretty much the big high points are I ask him, he says yes, he joins. He we both come up with the name UWA.
Hmm.
We had a bunch of different names, which some of them I cannot remember. I know one of them was like Fighting Spirit Wrestling, the other one was like
Yeah,
something like that. But then it was just we're in a building.
yeah. And then you're like, I want to make something different, and we thought about it for like a while, and then UWA just popped.
It popped, and of course that purple ass logo.
Oh, fuck Christ! Looking back on that logo now, I'm like, I'm happy Jake did not decide to go with this logo.
Now I love the color purple, but
Oh, I do too, but
it
still,
was clear that that was not going to be actually
uh,
like the first logo color was like yellow. It was like
yeah,
this
it
bright
was like,
yellow,
yeah, it was like yellow, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, Jake? Why this?
and then it turned to purple because of which we'll get into why it was purple because this is going to mind fuck people.
Yep,
Um, and then it took a little bit of practice, but it turned into the first logo, which is the one that everybody saw in the beginning, which
yep.
I will affectionately refer to that logo as the pizza crust burning logo because that's pretty much like what it was.
Pretty
Um,
much, yeah. I mean,
he
it was a cool logo at the time, though.
oh no, it's I still have a soft spot for it.
Yeah.
It's if we
I
ever had to
mean,
like combine the logos that like we have now together, like with that one,
yeah.
then we would. But then it was getting the ring, and he was there when the ring was first put up,
Oh, I helped you and your dad, try to set up the ring.
which is it's that was a challenge, but we got it done, and it was a glorious day. And then it was the night of the UWA reveal, which is almost coming up on 1 year, June 20th, which is crazy to think about, isn't it? It's crazy, crazy, crazy. But what happened? He was there. He was staying the night, and it was kind of a moment of, do we do it? Do we do it right now? Do we reveal this to everybody after months of speculation? Do we do it? And we did it. We got everything set up. We revealed that world title. We got going, and yeah. Um,
I still have that world title too.
he
It's
still does have the version 1 of the world title.
it's just like just chilling up there in my closet for just like
Yes.
in case like if we ever need it for like some fucking reason.
We bring it out when we need to.
Yes, we bring it out.
But after that, it was so. Okay, this is something that I think people have been curious about for a little while. Um, what were your influences for the CJ character? Because like the debut vignettes that we shot were very mysterious.
Oh man. Well, I took a little inspiration from Taker,
Yes,
as you know, people would when like if you would try like pull off a dark character.
yes.
Like
Taker is like the standard bearer.
yeah, Taker's like the guy that you should like look at the most. Be like, okay, there's some things I want to inquire in the character, but not all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I took like a little bit from that. Oh shit. Damn, I'm trying to remember because I one day I just woke up with like this character and I'm like, you know what? I think this will work, and it did. But as far as
It
inspirations
does.
go, I don't really remember all the inspirations. I just knew that Taker really fit into that inspiration role of like, hey, I yes, I want to do this. Take a little bit of inspiration from him. It was some other people. I guess I don't remember who it was,
I
but
think when we were talking about it, it was I think Michael Myers was somebody else too, right? Like I think it was Michael Myers because like on the debut vignettes, we were sitting there and I was like, "You've seen Halloween?" And you're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "You know how you have this white mask? You could like it looks a little bit like a Michael Myers mask."
and they don't know this, but every fucking time, like behind the scenes, I'd have most of these motherfuckers come up to me like, "You Michael Myers looking ass bitch." I'm like, "Hey,
Yes,
it's
everyone says it,
it's every fucking time." It's just like, okay,
but
thanks.
I mean that was a definite influence on, I guess, the editing style for CJ too.
Yeah,
In the vignettes, it was dark,
yeah.
and then there was your debut.
Oh, I really want to shit on you for what the fuck you told Jared about that. Which,
Yeah,
which
that
I will confirm. I was fucking nervous as shit. Fucking debuting for the very first time.
and we all could tell.
Yeah, like it was obvious from a mile away that I was like fucking nervous about coming out and doing that shit.
And this was and to be okay. I've never told you this. I admire how quickly that everything came into place. It was like in the blink of an eye, like when you walked out and you had your head down and you looked up, and immediately the look in your eye and the body language, it was all there,
Yep.
and it was an on the spot type thing. And that's the moment that all of us knew, okay, yeah, we got something. We got something because some people say to this very day that he should have been the first champion. And
Uh,
we're not really going to get
uh,
into many booking decisions here,
no, but one person that was really high influenced on me win the world title at that day was Jared.
which is understandable.
And I'm sitting here like,
I thought about it.
and I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, as much of a shock that would have been, I don't think I deserve it that quickly yet.
And it was also, I know like we got criticism because it's like we put it on Joe.
Yeah.
But Joe at the time was the only, you know, I feel like if you if you had no build up going into that, I feel like it would have fallen flat quickly.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that we didn't want. With Joe, it was a thing of
With Joe, you already have like a established guy. That's the thing.
and that was a kind of a decision was we're not going to say really because we could go into booking decisions all we want
Oh yeah.
on this. There are so many things that have almost happened or didn't happen.
Yeah, there was talks about little Mike winning it if he could have showed up. There was
Yes,
about Fat Asian winning it.
there was talks about I
Hell,
think
there was talks about you winning it, but then
there
you're like,
there were
nah,
talks,
because you were like, no, because it would seem like I want like the show was all gonna be about me.
which it's really not.
Yeah, but like that's like the mindset like I could tell that you were having,
Yes.
which you didn't want the whole show just be like, well, I
Now,
made my own company and I'm gonna win my own world title.
no, that would have been completely fucking ridiculous.
It
That would
wouldn't
have
make sense.
that would have been hypocritical.
Yeah.
And honestly, like if things would have came down to it and nobody but me could have, I would have done it.
Oh, I know.
I would have dropped it probably instantly.
Oh no, I remember another guy we were thinking about. It was Logan.
Yes, Logan was somebody else. You know
I've been
what? I guess we can talk about booking decisions here.
Yeah.
But
What?
like the idea was that Logan was going to win it there and then drop it the next night.
Yeah, he was gonna draft it at the first Warfare.
Which I mean, for Logan, I was like, I wanted, and it's like before he, I guess, kind of had his decisions about his career and like where he wanted to go.
Yeah.
Was I want to wait for that.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe one day it can still happen. You never know. But it was, you had your own mark to make.
Yeah, I did.
And then I guess from there, it was the buildup of CJ. It was the beating people who were higher up on the totem pole each time.
Yeah.
It was an eventual rise. And I think we should talk about the days leading up to you becoming UWA world champion.
Okay, can I explain that? Can I explain that from my side of the story?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I'll fill in the details a little bit
yes.
as it goes on.
Yes. So, I got the phone call from you saying, "Hey, Mike can't make it, to the event, to the first Wrath, because you're originally going to have him win it at
yes, because
First Blood, but he got busy with work, which is understandable, by the way.
Completely understandable.
I remember there just at work at the time, and my phone was like going off like crazy as shit. And I went on break. I called you, and you're like, "Hey, you're winning the world title this weekend." As it was like a fucking like Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm sitting like, "Are you fucking serious?" And you're like, "Yeah. I mean, we really have nobody else." And I remember like Jake would literally sit here and be like, please, we need someone to do it." I'm like,
yes, I did beg.
He did beg, and I was like, "All right, you know what? Fuck it, we'll do it."
Because the side piece to this is Mike was supposed to win it.
Yep.
Because Joe had held it for nearly 6 months.
Yep.
And well, I think he had a great reign with it.
I really enjoyed his match at Last Rites with Mike and Buzzsaw.
That was a wonderful match. To this day, I think that if UWA fans are here right now, go back and appreciate that match.
I remember watching that match, and like the little kid in me was like, "Come on, Buzzsaw!"
Oh, absolutely. There was a part of me that was like, "Do we give it to him?"
I feel like if we gave it to him, everything would have been so much different.
Oh my god!
Like I wouldn't have won the world title that quickly, and all of that either. And it's kind of
there are so many alternate timelines.
Like honestly, if you would have let Buzzsaw win it at Last Rites, I wouldn't have been mad about it. I'd have been like, you know what, that's probably the smart decision to do.
And I think I don't think that thought ever crossed my mind though.
Oh, if I was in your spot, I'd have been like, because like my choices for that was either like let Joe retain, let him have his hell of a run he was already having,
or Buzzsaw,
or Buzzsaw, which is our ultimate underdog.
Which that's to say that maybe in the future that he can't.
Oh no,
I think
he should.
Okay, I'm gonna shatter this right here. I would like him to. I love him to death. He's somebody I want to get on there one day too, because you think that him. He's a really stand-up guy. We both love him to death.
My most favorite thing that when I've been around Buzzsaw was he looked at both of us, preferably me in the car with him on the way to your house to film me versus him. He's like, "Have you ever seen a blind man shoot pool?" And I died. And then he said that during the taping, and I fucking died again. I'm like, damn it, Buzzsaw.
Speaking of stuff in the background, when Joe was doing his press conference after Last Rites, like the little banjo that little Mike had in the post-match thing, it fell and it hit you, and you were like, fuck! And it's like, scream. And the camera slowly pans over to like unmask you.
Yeah, there was that, and then there was the me obnoxiously fucking
opening a Mountain Dew.
Yes, opening the Mountain Dew can. You looked at me and you were like, "Can you fucking stop?"
And we were all just trying so hard not to laugh.
Joe, during the whole time of his press conference, was trying so hard to keep his composure because I was behind the camera. I was staring at Sky, and Sky was looking at me, and I just opened the fucking Mountain Dew can, and then I could tell Joe tried so hard not to laugh. I was like,
but
yes.
okay, so in this decision, I'm going to give you context kind of to where like we all were. It was a very cold winter. It was like a very cold fall. We
Well,
were
to you guys, not to me.
Oh yeah, because he's from Ohio, so he
Yeah.
knows a thing or two about winter. But this was in the time to shatter the fourth wall. We were having conversations with Anthony Steele and WEF at the time,
Yeah.
and it was a very tense couple of days.
Mhm.
It was also the first time that we talked with Captain Law.
Oh my dude, when you mentioned Captain Law, and I'll say this, I love Dale. I do.
Yes, we all
But
do.
I'm sitting here like this man needs to literally go fuck himself.
Well, like we didn't know him at the time,
No, we
and
didn't like we know now. Like now I love Dale. Back then I wanted to punch Dale in the mouth.
now I consider him a good friend and like a close, like creative confidant, and somebody that if we need a good idea, we can go to him.
Yeah.
You know, former actually the first guest of the uncensored slash unfiltered slash whatever the fuck podcast,
Whatever fucking podcast you got going on, Jake.
the Juicy J 2000 fucking Memorial Tag Team podcast.
Hold on. Can we talk about this? Because the fans won't know this.
Yeah.
Now, if you are ever with me and Jake on a car ride to the UWA arena, you're gonna it's the most stupidest
It's
car ride ever,
stupid.
but it's
No,
fucking hilarious.
listen, if I wish that this would have been set up in those car rides
Oh my god.
because it would be, and I think one day we should do it because this records non-Wi-Fi audio.
Yeah, I think so.
Because it's something along the lines of, you know, it's a brainstorming session. It's a, you know, talk about life type shit, and it's just very, you know, there have been times where we had to get the fuck out and drive fast.
Yeah.
There have been times where we came up like with entire month-long storylines in the
Oh,
car.
yeah.
There
And
was the time of
then you have the big time rush fucking times, which is all the time.
okay, this is a thing that we might show off one day. It is tradition. Every time before a UWA show or taping, someone has to play Big Time Rush.
I don't know why, but that's become like the traditional
It
thing.
was first at Unleashed.
Oh my, yeah. Oh yeah, it was.
And then it was at the Jamboree.
Yep.
It was at Destination.
Oh, yep. It
Which
was.
we will get to Destination.
Yep. We
But
will.
that winter was, you know, we were all a little bit stressed because Joe had dropped the belt to somebody. We were having our problems with Fat Asian then.
He dropped the title to me, Jake, remember?
Yes, but like this is like when Joe was trying to drop it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I wanted Mike because it was logical. He had a feud with him, but it just wasn't possible. So I remember being like, okay, which should we reveal the original story or should we?
I think we should just do it.
I don't know. Because I don't want to. Okay, all I'm going to say about it, the original story for how he would have won it, we might get to that a different day.
Mm-hmm.
But let's just say that it's the most alternate timeline shit you ever heard in your entire life. And he knows what I'm talking about.
I'm pretty sure if we would have did that storyline, the whole CJ files would never existed.
Oh no, it would be so no. But when you won the belt, it was an emotional moment.
Yep.
Because this was a kind of a time of he deserves it. Because everybody was pulling for you. Like I remember, like the fans were like, "We love this fucking guy."
Yeah.
And it was a moment of I was proud because I just felt like it was just such a good way to do it. And then the rematch with Joe.
Yeah. My body killed me that day after that.
Hell Frozen Over is a day that I'm not gonna forget.
I remember just like doing the match with Joe, and I'd see you behind the camera popping like a fucking middle school girl over seeing Justin Bieber. Oh no, that was the time I seen Jake pop. The second time I seen Jake pop so fucking hard was my match with Chaos.
Oh yeah.
Like Jake was literally jumping in the air for fucking joy, saying "Fuck yeah, that's what
Because
I'm talking about."
this is after like the retirement,
Yeah,
and
that
I
was
was
a sad
so
day.
sad.
Yeah, that was a sad day for me. Just like seeing like you retires. I know like what you were going through at the time, and I'm sitting here like, damn man, because I thought before you retired, because Jake was having a discussion about this, which I'm going to say it now. He was trying to figure out who he really wanted his last match with.
Yes, I wanted to have one more match because I didn't want to go out like that.
And I
But
mean, I threw me in that conversation. I think if
we
we would,
probably would have had the FD match there.
yeah, oh Jesus Christ, yeah,
But that's thank goodness that I'm not a very spiritual like religious man, but thank God for that I'm here right now.
I'm gonna go back to the car rides for a minute.
Yeah,
I remember one time when we were in the car together. We were talking about something. I don't remember what it was. You looked at me dead in the face. No, fucking
no joking.
no, not even joking. Nothing. You looked at me and just straight up said, "God is dead." I'm like, what the fuck?
You know what? I think I know.
And I'm sitting here like,
Whoa.
Jake, out of all things that you could say to me, that's what you have to say.
Okay, now also speaking of, I think we should use this as kind of a platform to clear the air about a few issues that we've not really talked about.
Alrighty.
This is very simple. This is not going to turn into a shoot podcast because this is not what this is all about.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we could fill a book with 1,000,000 pages about some of this stuff.
Yep.
Here's the thing. You will hear us talk about Max Chaos, Anthony Steele, Fat Eight, guys that didn't last too long within UWA.
Which is unfortunate.
It's unfortunate.
Because honestly, like I'm gonna say this now, I have no beef with Chaos or Fat Asian or Steel. It's just a lot of shit's happened, and they know what I'm talking about. But me and Chaos have always been cool. I've always liked Chaos.
He's not a bad guy.
No, I've known Fat Asian for over 4 years now.
Yeah,
So,
he
which I like Fat Asian. Like, don't get me wrong, I do. But like, if you guys were there, seeing what would go on behind the scenes with Fat Asian, yeah.
it's and then when it comes to
I'm not gonna say what it is because, like I said, I love Fat Asian. I've known him for a long
that's
time,
that
but
that's his stuff to bear.
yeah, I'm not gonna get into that.
Just it was situations that I wish wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, no, I agree.
We hate when that happens.
There's okay. I'm gonna say this. There's one thing I had a problem with Fat Asian, which I like. I still love the guy. It was
Yeah.
behind as one day when I was there, we were filming something. I think it was Warfare 4. I think when it was when he faced Mike before Mike got there. This man literally tried to take a nap in the middle of the ring,
Oh yeah, you know what he did.
and I'm sitting here like, I agree with you, but at the same time, you know, before you come to a show, make sure you have like proper
a
sleep.
a good no. That's the most crucial thing. Is
Mm-hmm.
you get a good night's sleep before this. If you don't, you're fucked.
Yeah, because I remember he would like stay up to like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm sitting here like, dude, we got taping the next day.
Yes,
Like I'm not
but
gonna shit on you for that, but like just take care. It's like take better care of yourself, man.
and it was and how like I'm guilty of that sometimes.
Jake, I remember one time. I think it was like before FD. Like
I
you
was
were,
having a rough time.
dude. Like this man was so stressed out. Like I don't know how the fans are gonna think about this. I hope it goes good. And well, honestly, I think it went really well.
Yeah, I think that FD was the most ambitious thing that we've done.
Yeah.
Now there were some things that should have happened there that didn't happen, and that's because life can intervene, and it's nobody's fault really. But I think we should get to what led up to FD. How about we talk about the DL storyline?
Oh, all right.
So, the first thing I know people will ask about this, was it Captain Law from the beginning? You want to say it? You want to say it together?
All right.
3, 2, 1.
Yes.
Yes, it was.
But I will say this:
The idea,
the whole, the name for DL originally came from me. I came up with DL.
which is,
Which, I mean, yeah, do I regret making it that obvious? Kind of, but I think it'd have been even more obvious if I would have done CL. Like,
oh no, that would have been no. I mean, like we did not have a name for that character
honestly, Jig, just to make it like seem like even like not obvious, I thought about the name DJ for that, for the whole DL thing.
in hindsight.
Yeah,
We can go back, but I think it like this whole storyline. It was a lot of fun.
yeah, it was a lot of I
Good
would say
filming.
there was a lot of filming. I would say from Jake's side, it was a lot of confusion of what to exactly film for the CJ files. Because I
Well,
could
yes, because it's like okay, like the CJ files. I don't think that's ever been done before.
no, and I will say this: this was not the whole CJ files thing was not my idea.
I believe it was mine.
It was yours, because I remember you asking me. I'm like, "Do you want to have like your own little like thing?"
Yeah, because
Sure, and it
I
was
guess what the CJ files like essentially was is I knew we were going to do this big overarching months long storyline. I'm like, we had to have a way for people to keep up with it.
yeah.
So Instagram posts are fine, but what if it was a visual representative? And it was called the CJ Files,
Yeah.
which I still like that name and I'm going to stand by it. But there were some CJ Files things that never happened, and for good reason.
Like what? What you wanna tell them?
Yes, I will tell them some of these things.
All right.
There was going to be a segment where I believe it's like a car chase,
Uh,
which, which was no, no. I don't think that would have been. I mean, it would have been cool as shit for like the CJ Files, but it would have been dangerous to film.
yeah.
There was a point where I believe he wanted to try to find like an abandoned building.
Yeah, I remember that. Like, because you came up to me and was like, "Hey, I know this abandoned place we could use as like quote unquote your where you stay."
And then we were like, that's probably crawling with like rats and like
Yeah,
homeless people.
spiders, snakes, and you were like, "Yeah, no, fuck that."
Yeah. But the CJ Files is essentially it's something that I think is not just a me project in terms of like the ideas. People have had ideas for it that we've used. Like I'm gonna say that everybody who was a part of the CJ Files did a great fucking job.
There's one thing I want to take credit for.
Yes, go ahead.
That was the home invasion. That was all my idea.
The home invasion was his idea. We sat there and worked out the script, which there's a physical script for it.
You still have that script, don't you?
It is somewhere in this room right now. It's somewhere in the room. I believe it. Yeah, and it was everything on that script happened exactly in the order.
Yeah.
And I gotta okay. I think we should talk about that real quick.
Hold on before we get to that. I want to say one thing.
Yeah.
Your house when all the lights are off is creepy as fuck, especially that goddamn basement of yours.
Oh my god, no. It's like the way that okay, people have seen this house before in like the Maniac Mayhem stuff. It's very angular, it's very tall,
Yep.
very echoey.
Yep.
So in the darkness, which everything was completely dark for that, it was pitch black. We filmed it at like 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And the footsteps and just like the breathing. I think you can look like still hear like the breathing
I'm gonna say this. People could sit here and call me a pussy all they want, but literally, Jake, that part where I had to run down the basement, I literally had my fucking flashlight on, just making sure nothing comes behind me. I'm like, Jake's told me this basement's haunted. I want nothing fucking creeping up on me saying,
That's
"Boo."
a different story.
That's a story for another time. But like,
The
literally,
whole property is kind of weird, but we're not going to get into that right
and
now.
then that fucking back room, dude. When I had to run back,
Oh my god, the back
dude,
room.
my flashlight was on in my pocket the entire time I was in there until
But
until you walked in and that whole scene happened.
there was a moment where I was kind of scared
What part were you
because
scared about?
oh, okay. It wasn't even in filming.
Mm-hmm.
It was just walking through my house when it was completely dark.
Yeah.
And it was just I could hear him breathing. And Cody, you know that my favorite film is Halloween, like the first Halloween.
Yep.
When I hear breathing in a dark house, I think of Michael Myers.
Hence why you guys call me Michael Myers behind the scenes.
Which and that actually that was an inspiration behind the home invasion was I guess like the ending scene of the first Halloween.
Yeah, I remember like we were in the car and like we were coming back to my place, and I'm just sitting here like, I have an idea for you. He's like, and Jake goes, well, what's the idea? And I was like, how about we do like a home invasion?
And I was like, pause.
And you're like, go on.
Yeah, I was like, go on.
Which I'm glad we did the home invasion because I like sometimes I will literally sit here and go back and just rewatch the whole thing.
It's now I wonder if people can spot the little things in it.
Hmm.
Because okay, we wanted to do more stuff like that for the CJ files, but okay, quite frankly, it would have been a lot of long distance stuff.
Yeah, it would have been. Is my child crying? I think so. Jesus.
Well, I mean,
Oh, did I just shatter another fourth wall that I have a kid?
oh yeah, he's a little baby.
Yeah, I have a little 2 month old now.
And she is just the sweetest little thing of all time.
Like if like Jake, you can agree with this.
Hmm.
Literally looks like she was like pulled out of my ass.
Yes. I of course I see him unmasked,
Yes.
and this baby looks just like him. Like it's like a little mini him, and it's incredible.
I will say this, going back to the wrestling topic, the one thing
Yes.
I get like the most respect for is how every time I step in the ring, I just keep improving.
Yes. Which he is very critical of himself.
Oh, I always talk shit on myself. I remember telling Jake one day, I was like, Jake, I fucking suck. And you're like, no, no, no. Shut your mouth. I'm like, don't lie to me. Because I pulled
I
the
don't lie.
that Jared does where he's like, I fucking suck.
Jared also never gives himself credit, though. I think he's pretty good.
No, like truth be told, I was the one filming him and Chance's match at FD. I actually enjoyed that.
That was fun.
It's just
Like
the only thing I wish for is that like when I was doing the I'm just gonna say fuck this. You know what? I'm gonna say this. When I was doing the crowd for that match, like if there was no commentary behind that, you literally could hear it clear as fucking day.
some of that stuff we can't say.
Oh, I remember in on our match, Jake at FDA, I looked at I don't know who it was, but I think it was Chance or
Don't say it.
I'm not gonna say it. No, it's not that. It's when I looked at no, it was Jared. I looked at Jared. I was like, "You got a mangina,"
Yeah, you did.
and then he's like, "I don't know what that." And then all you hear is Jared just go, "I don't know what that is," and I was like, huh, "You will. Don't worry about
you you will.
it. You will."
But okay, the DL storyline. I will say this about the DL storyline is you all will never know how many possible outcomes that was going to have.
Oh my, yeah.
You will never know the endless amounts of people who came to me saying, "I know who it is."
Oh, I can only imagine of who all came to you and said, "Yeah,
Oh,
I know who this is."
and the guesses were all over the place.
Wasn't one of them like Joe and Mike at one point?
One of them was Joe.
I think was no. I feel like Mike was another one because because it would have made sense if it was Mike because like you guys are like going for that like that fucking feud or some shit.
That is true.
And I'm sitting here like because I'm gonna say this like the prior leading up to FD when the whole DL thing was revealed, we thought about not making it Captain Law.
We thought about
Like there was thoughts of like it being Sullivan.
it.
With
And okay, anyone who's listening to this who knows Chance personally, he's like the nicest guy, like just like the biggest like teddy bear of like a human being.
I remember I did an interview for somebody and they asked what my thoughts on Chance was. Like not even like kayfabe, just straight up shooting. I was like, Chance is a good kid. He really has the
He's
heart.
fun.
You can tell he really has the heart for this kind of stuff.
He's the reason behind the Tron.
Yeah, because I remember it was
Me and Chance.
yeah it was you and Chance getting that shit because I remember
Scrambling.
oh it was like the last minute before you came and got me and Jared. You guys were like, hey, because I remember Jared wanted to use that Tron because he worked on that for I don't know how long it was, but
Yes, so
that really meant something to him.
Jared Jared is the main reason, and we almost couldn't do it. But I'm like, wait a minute, Chance, isn't there like an adapter we can buy? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, let's go do it.
And I think the funny thing is like people don't know this, but like after like a match or whatever, we all just kind of like sit around and talk. And I remember like Jake one time, we were sitting talking about the match and how good the show is and how it's gonna be. And this man literally just fucking he walks into his house, grab a whole thing of fucking goldfish, sits in the fucking chair or on the fucking rink apron, just be like, "So guys, that was an amazing show." As he's just stuffing his fucking face with goldfish.
I think that was after. That might have been after.
I think that was after me and Chaos, wasn't it?
No,
When was that? As I remember, like you went in your house, grabbed a whole thing of goldfish.
that might have been the first warfare.
Speaking of the first warfare, I'm just gonna publicly apologize to
Mercer.
about Zoomer kicking him in the fucking face.
Oh yeah, he did. No, he
Like
totally did.
okay, to be like I'm gonna say like look that was bad on me and I apologize,
That's on me.
but also Mercer, you literally leaned into the super kick. I don't care. You want to go back and fucking slow it down and rewatch it 100 times to prove that I'm wrong? Go ahead. But I know what the fuck happened because I was obviously there.
We love you, J. Phil.
Oh, I love J Phil. I try to talk to him every single day, but I understand the man's busy.
Man's okay, and that's something else I think we should talk about real quick. Is UWA was weekly and now it's not.
Oh, dude, the amount of times that fucking shit's had to change because of people's work schedules. If I had
we could fill an entire book with it.
if I had a dime for every time that something happens or somebody has to work and can't request it off, I'd be set for life. Like for example, the match between me and Chaos at Adrenaline,
Oh my
where
god!
I hate that day, but at the same time, I thought the match was going really good.
It was. It
Jake,
was
you were obviously there, and
okay. Should I tell the story?
I'm just gonna say this one part, and then you can tell them. Maybe this
Yeah.
is also part of your story. I don't know, but Jake, I don't know if you have the whole of what we filmed of that match, like the first like 14 minutes of that, but
It was going good.
Chaos literally, yeah, it was going. Oh yeah, it was going really fucking good. I hit this dope ass Russian leg sweep. I'm like,
huh?
Nice. I'm like, I didn't know I could do that. And then the one thing that I hated the most is when I caught the steel chair, and then I got drop kicked in the fuck with it.
So yes, so that match was going well, and Chaos. If you're listening to this, then you know what I'm talking about.
I have no hate towards you, Chaos.
No.
That was all. I know it wasn't planned before the match. It was kind of like planned on the spot, and I guess I just took it wrong. So
Okay. What
no
happened was he threw it in CJ's face, and he does a missile drop kick. Now, thank God for that little plastic mask.
Oh, dude, if I didn't have that plastic mask on, my nose would have been shattered. I probably lost a few teeth that day.
It would have looked like Brian after Peter knocked all of his teeth out.
Which is funny because Jake knows this. I wasn't concerned about my nose. I was concerned about losing a fucking tooth that day.
Your nose was bleeding,
Oh, why not?
and we didn't have any Kleenex, so we had to use like shop little shop rags, like those garage type rags that we use for like
no,
cars.
no. Like I remember, like you gave me literally no Chaos and his girlfriend or fiance literally gave me baby wipes.
Yes, which
I
stung.
uh no, actually, believe it or not, that didn't sting.
Really?
I'm yeah, dead serious. That never stung. Like if anything, it more like after you gave me the ice pack and I did the baby wipe shit, it more like soothed it after a while.
Well, shout outs to baby wipes.
Yeah,
But
literally.
we are considering like we're going to consider bringing back adrenaline.
I would because I would have loved to finish that match with Chaos because that match would have been really fucking good.
Of course, as like a UWA show now.
Yeah, but shit behind the scenes gets involved, and
yes,
Chaos is not with us. But I mean, one day, I know, like this would never happen, but like I would love to see him back. I know it wouldn't happen.
If if everything somehow got smoothed out.
I mean, I would say fuck it, everything got smoothed out.
And if things weren't so damn political.
Yeah, like I said, I have no hate towards Chaos or his dad.
I have hate for the situation. I've made my peace with Brian, and I made my peace with all that stuff.
However, I will say when you issued that public apology, number one, I was proud of you that day. I really like look at the comments. I literally said I'm proud, better late than never. I'm proud of you, Jake.
Yes.
And then I remember just Chaos and Mr. Fucking Brian Chaos over there, just sitting there, be like, well, I don't accept this apology. And I'm sitting there like, dude, at least he gave it, later than never.
And you know what? I'll just publicly say this, right? Even right now that I'm sitting here, and I will say this publicly, I don't hold a grudge against, Josh and Titan and Flair and Ledger, Chaos and his dad. I really don't. What happened, and it was a shitty thing that happened, but it's been over 2 years coming up.
I was going to say, Jake, I feel like, yeah, yes, you have no hatred, but like the memories are just like still there.
They are still there, and
like I know they're still there because I remember you coming to me at like midnight talking to me about like everything that's happened. I'm sitting there like, Jake, I understand what happened to you, but at the same time, dude, it's been like 2 years.
Yes,
and like I hate to sound like a dick to put it that way.
No, thank you for saying that.
Yeah, and like it's been years. Like I obviously have no hate towards like any of the TBW guys. Like Ty's always been cool with me. Gage, same thing. Ledger, me and Ledger's actually talked a little bit before, and me and him has always been cool. Josh, me and Josh was cool. I remember when you and Josh were like best friends at the time.
I guess that's what kind of hurts about it still is like the friendships that like you make that just kind of go away.
Yeah.
And now, like that being said, this is a public thing, and I mean no disrespect when I say this to anybody, but just because I've moved on does not mean for certain. Like this is just kind of a thing. Is it the guys I've had those things with? I don't think I would want to do business with them again.
Yeah, and I remember like Jake, I told you I was like, look, you can forgive them, but like it's forgive, and in your case, it's forgive and not forget. The original expression is forgive and forget, but I know like that like what all happened when you were there, like it really like took a toll on your life.
I had trauma for a little while, like, and I don't think I've told you this, but like there were times where I would have a dream about it. I'd wake up in the middle of the night just crying and being in tears.
Okay. You never told me about you crying in tears, but you have came to me and said that like you've had like
nightmares,
like dreamed of it. Yes, and I remember one dream. You it was literally the next day. You called me and it was like, dude, I had a weird ass dream. I'm like, okay, well I had weird ass dreams too, but what was it? And literally this man would sit here with no hesitation and just said, yeah, I had a dream I bought TBW.
I did have that dream one time.
I was sitting here like, what the fuck transpired for you to have a dream about buying?
I don't know why I dreamed of it because like it'll never happen.
No, but it was just kind of weird just how you put it.
I don't know why I dreamt of it.
Because I remember I just woke up and I
because I
just
don't want to.
responded back to you, and then you said that. I'm sitting here like, what in the
Like,
fuck?
okay, what I'm referring to is like there are some things that I've never talked about that
Mhm.
happened. I think I'll say one thing that did happen.
Go
I
ahead.
I won't name the name of what happened, but I'll tell you what happened.
Hmm.
It was a particular day. It was a training day there, and a man who was very large. He fell on me, full weight,
I remember this story.
and that gave me my first damage to my sternum. And I like you guys know the expression of losing your breath. I lost all of my breath and I couldn't breathe for about like a good 10-15 seconds.
Yeah, you told me that, and then like literally the next day after you and Mike's match, like you told me like you had a hard time fucking sleeping that night.
No, like after the Mike match and like the injury, I didn't sleep good for like a month and a half because like I could barely keep a breath.
Oh no, I know what it was. It wasn't that. It was when you came to me and literally said like, "Dude, I can't breathe." This was after you and Chaos's match.
Yeah, like I couldn't breathe. I couldn't take air in well, and I couldn't keep it.
You couldn't eat. You could barely even eat too. I remember that.
I lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, you're down to like what 210.
At the time, I was like 208. Now I'm back up to like 212, like 211.
Yeah,
But I was like near like 205,
you
which
you literally could have competed for the cruiserweights.
I could have been a cruiserweight, but
Oh, I could not have imagined Jake Howell being a cruiserweight. That'd be I
no.
feel like I was sitting here like
Now light heavy,
get out here.
light heavyweight, yes.
If okay, look, if Jake Howell is gonna sit here and just do a 450, 360 no scope off the top rope, there's a fucking problem.
But I
I would literally look at
um
you that day if you want to do it and just looked at you and just said, you know what, Jake, you want to do it, good, do it, but at the same time, happy landing.
now but like that incident was the first time that I had my sternum problems, and
Yeah. Then I
and
got
it got completely worse
yeah.
after like because like what happened was on the training day was I got squashed bad. I couldn't really move and I couldn't really breathe, and I hear people laughing at
Oh
me.
yeah. That when you told me this part, this literally fucking pissed me
Oh
off.
no, oh no, and I'm not going to name names of who laughed, but you are out there and you know who you are.
Yeah.
I will name one name
Okay.
that it was Titan that checked up on me
Yeah.
and said, "Stop fucking laughing. He's actually in pain. Like he's in trouble."
Yeah.
That I'd still hold that respect in that instance to him to this day. I do respect that.
Speaking of Titan, I know this is a this is the podcast. And we can talk about
This
kind
is
of
a
what happened.
topical. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess it's topical.
Has Titan reached out to you at all recently?
In all honesty, yes, he has.
Now, what has he exactly said to you? If you want to air it out to the the fans watching this and everybody,
He did apologize,
that's good.
and I that did give me some kind of closure, but it led to an internal UWA talk
What
about
he wants to shit.
of Titan coming in,
Well,
which
I mean, I've already expressed this to you, Jake, and I'm gonna express this publicly. I have no issue with Titan, and if you want to bring him in, that's fine. It's just I know for sure that you really just don't want Titan in the UW.
and that's no offense to Titan and Troy. If you're listening to this, it's no offense to you. It's just I just don't think it's a good idea. From like a personal standpoint and from a Booker type standpoint, I just don't think it's a good idea.
Well, yeah, but I mean, who's to say that maybe in the future? I mean, you never know, really. Like if UWA ever grows like excessively, we can get like a new like arena and a new ring and shit.
If things for right now, it's a definite no.
But who knows? Maybe one day down the line, it may or may not change. Who knows?
If it ever does happen, then it's I don't know. That's a difficult thing to say
No, I mean I understand that.
because there's still so much that goes on nowadays that has not been made public.
Hmm.
That still happens. But I know he got. I know he quit.
I know one thing that you will not express publicly, but I'm gonna say it anyway. To shit on you, even though I love you. your unhealthy obsession with Luigi nutting in the car. I don't know. Okay, I don't know where this man finds shit like that, but I remember one day we were just driving around, and this man literally plays Luigi nut for some fucking reason. I'm like, Jake.
There's this entire channel on YouTube that
Oh
just
no,
has
no,
characters screaming.
no, I remember. No, I remember the first day you played it. Me, you, and Fat A was just hanging out. We went to Bowling Green and got canes, and this man, for some fucking reason, he was like depressed. And the first thing I hear from the radio was the fucking fattest nut he's ever had in his life. I'm like, good fucking god, man, why? You're like,
Because like those cheer me up. I don't care what day that I'm having. It's a bad day or a good day, horrible day. I'm depressed. If I hear okay, there are 3 videos that like they'll do it.
there's
It's it's Luigi's nut, it's Wario laughing, and then it's Mario screaming.
wait, I'm pretty sure they have a Wario nutting too, don't they?
They don't have Wario nutting. If they make Wario nutting, I will definitely find it and play it. But like that makes me happy.
Yeah, I'm just like me and Fat A, like I'm in like the passenger seat.
They are eating Raising Canes. They're having a good time. All of a sudden, you just hear, yeah.
Like, literally, like me and Fat Age look at each other. We look back at Jake.
Oh,
I looked at Jake. I'm like, Jake,
I just burst out laughing.
You looked at me with like the most calmest face, and then after I got done saying what the fuck, you just died.
And to this day, sometimes that still happens.
And then, as I remember that, like we got canes, and then we went somewhere else to get like the ref shirts. I remember that.
We went to Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yeah, you know what's funny about that?
What?
You know how many memes I would see about like people going to Staples and they actually have Staples there, and they go to Dick's thinking there's actually like Dick's there. I'm sitting here like, what in the fuck?
Where are the dicks?
I'm like, really? Maybe the coworkers are dicks, but they don't have penises inside the store.
I think we should get to something I think people want to hear about.
Oh, what is that now?
Let's get to the Final Destination match.
All right, let's. I can
So,
for hours talking about it, but yeah, sure.
I could also, but I think it's kind of contextual to say that this match, for all intensive purposes, this match wasn't the most difficult thing in my life. Far from it. But it was the most mentally worrying thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Because this is... So people didn't show up for FD because life got in the way. So we were like, we have to make this.
Yeah, one guy got into a car accident, but he's fine.
He's fine.
His car is not fine.
His car is...
These were his exact words. He goes, my car looks like shit, but I'm fine. I'm like... Well, I'm glad that you think this is comical in that sense, but like, you still got in a car crash.
He did get into a car crash, but
you know, I'm happy he's doing well, and shit.
We're hoping to bring him in soon. By the way,
yeah, I would love to meet that guy. Honestly,
I want him really bad because he's fun.
He's a very chill dude, which I respect.
But that day, and everybody can test this, I had to fill some shoes. And we're not going to get into what that means, but I was tired. I was so tired.
Mm-hmm.
And I went into my house to get changed one time, and then I come back out in my gear.
Yeah, as I remember, like before that, it was after I think Rags to Riches, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. I remember Jared. He looked at me. He goes, "Yeah, so you and Jake are filming y'all's match right now." I'm sitting there like, what?
Yeah, I remember like because Jared came in to check on me, and because like I was like barely like. I'll be honest, and I'm not told you this, but like all day my sternum was acting up like crazy.
Oh, now I feel bad for everything.
and it was due to nerves. So like
okay.
My sternum will act up in 2 ways. It's when I get hurt somehow, like chest wise, or if I'm really nervous. Like it's been like a side effect of this whole thing.
You know, I just want to clear this up before anybody, jumps the gun here. Before me and Jake's match, we literally had like the most brotherly hug imaginable backstage before it even started.
And then
the most thing that disturbed me, Jake, is when you looked at me and said, you know what? Just give it your all, and I kind of want to feel pain today. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, no, because at that point, I was tired. I was frustrated. I was a little bit miffed. You know,
And well, to be fair, Jake did feel a lot of pain in that match.
I did,
There was
but
the knee I gave you in the fucking
mm,
jaw. There was okay, I'm gonna say this. There was one part in the match. It was like very early when me and him was like when I was on the outside after I need him in the fucking head. I was trying to knee him again while he was laying there. This man had for some reason violence on his mind. Decides to hit me in
I
the fucking balls.
I didn't mean to.
And then like when I threw Jake in the ropes, that was literally me blacked out for like 3 seconds. I didn't know what the fuck to do. So I literally grabbed Jake
So
with all my force and just threw his ass into the fucking ropes, sternum first,
so okay,
which I already
I
apologized.
was trying to hit him in the stomach,
It's just the way how it was angled is when you hit me in the nuts.
which I'm still sorry for.
And I apologize for literally, I thought I murdered you after I threw you in the fucking ring ropes.
No,
And then
I hit the turnbuckle,
you, and you also hit the ropes.
but I was fine. I was just more concerned about you because I
Can we talk about what happened after I told Dale to cut it?
no,
Or, why not?
because I got angry.
You know what? Fuck it. So I got hit in the balls, and then Jake, just like fucking pretty much kips up, comes to check on me as I'm not even like that far away from him, looks at me and he says, "I'm sorry, man." And then like all I see is like Jared giving me like 2 bottles of water. And I'm just sitting here like just chugging it and shit.
He gulped it down,
And I'm just
which
as my balls are in pain and my stomach's in pain. Fucking Dale is just sitting there on the canvas trying to sing me fucking songs, and then this is like the most pissed off I think I've ever heard Jake since I've known him. He literally looked at him. He said, "Shut the fuck up! Can't you see he's in pain?" And Dale's like, "Look, I know how he is. I know how his sense of humor is." And Jake goes, "Well, I don't give a fuck." I'm like, "Good thing he's yelling at Dale, not me."
no, but it's
I got scared whenever you raised your voice that loud. I'm like, damn, Jake.
listen. I was worried about you.
I know, but you literally just snapped on Dale.
Well, you
Poor
know,
poor Dale that day. He's probably like, damn, I just got yelled at. Fuck. And I'm just
and
sitting there. No, I'm just sitting there holding my fucking balls, looking at both. What the fuck is going on?
well, okay. Afterwards, we did apologize and everything was fine, but
Yeah.
it was just emotions were running high that day.
And I remember fucking Blaze texted me the next day after the show was uploaded. He literally texted me and said, "Dude, it didn't even sound like I got hit in the balls. I wanted to say to him so bad. How about you fucking ask my goddamn ball sack how they felt?" Spoiler alert, bitch, it hurt. It felt like I just here's how it felt. It felt like you literally just punched out my left testicle.
And I'm sorry.
Like you must use like all your force on accident.
Okay.
Like, my balls felt like they were on fire.
What also happened there was when I was trying to hit you in the stomach on the downward angle, my foot kind of slipped.
I didn't even notice your foot slipped. All I saw was just your hand colliding with my fucking.
I have to have like a good center of gravity, but my left foot kind of went, and I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, as soon as you hit me in the balls, dude, I just got so pissed. I just fucking slung you,
and I could tell,
like a football, like you were fucking nothing. And then Jake's like, "Yeah, that hurt." I'm sitting here like, "Well, I love you, but you also hit me in the balls."
It's also a kind of a big thing of that match was very brutal.
I do want to talk about one spot in that match, Jake. If you don't,
what is the spot?
it was the spot when you had the cookie sheet in your hand, and I caught you in the balls, slammed threw the cookie sheet on you, and you were just flapping around like a goddamn dolphin. Was that actually real, or was that part of the thing?
That was a real. That was, I don't know what you hit. I think it hit like a part of my spine.
I think it was like your lower part of your spine, close to like your tailbone that you said you broke.
Well, like what happened? Like I don't remember like where like it exactly, but I just felt my body like go back.
Yeah,
like I felt my muscles spasm. Like, oh my god, what's going on? That actually kind of like woke me up a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here like
Oh,
I didn't even notice that you even did that until after like the video went up that you literally were spazzing like a fucking dolphin.
That was
because I remember being in that mindset. Like I seen like a little bit of it. I'm like, okay, Jake's just put on for the show. Then afterwards, you're like, dude, that literally fucked me up. I'm like, are you?
no, like, because like when you threw it, like the side of it caught me, and I just felt like both of my arms go back, and I'm like, what the fuck?
And then before that, there was a spot where I literally, not even as hard as I could, like a little bit as hard as I could, literally just hit you in the fucking head with a goddamn cookie sheet.
It felt hard to me.
It wasn't even that hard at all, I promise.
But
I did put a little oomph into it, but like it wasn't like I'm gonna
I
fucking.
remember the referee came to me later,
Oh yeah,
and he was like, "Listen, when you went through that table, I thought you were done."
dude. Like, okay, I'm gonna say this before. Okay, so before we thought about doing the attitude adjustment through the table, we did think about a power bomb.
It was gonna be a power bomb, but then I'm like, I'm not in the right position.
Yeah, like that's literally what I was telling Dale backstage after the match was over with. I was like, I wanted to do the power bomb, but Jake wasn't in the right position to.
And that was my bad. I was
No,
supposed to get in
no,
like a moonsault position.
no, you're fine. I like. Yes, the power bomb will look more brutal, but also that could have hurt you a lot more than the attitude adjustment.
Pain is pain. I don't really care.
Yeah, I mean that's what you said before we started the match. Was
But
like,
then the match went on,
oh
and
God,
I think.
I know
Here,
what really fucked you up, Jake.
and how about it was the punt?
No, it was before the punch.
No, what? Like the punt was the one that fucked me up the most, to be honest with you.
Oh, the punt might have fucked you up the most, but the thing that led towards the punt that literally, where the punt really fucked you up is when I literally enziguried you from the ground.
And you caught me in the side of like my head,
Yeah,
like the right side of my head.
and I remember like before the match started when I was like punching you on the ground, my fist literally collided with like the corner of your fucking eye.
Yes.
Like
So
I heard that, I'm like, yep, I actually hit him in the face.
so then I do not remember if the camera caught this or if not, but my eyes rolled in the back of my head.
No, I didn't catch that.
My eyes rolled in the back of my head like 3 times in this match.
Yeah.
I felt like a Pornhub slut. But
Who the fuck were you getting dicked down by? That's my question.
but what happened was the spot that caught me the most was the punt kick.
Ignores my question entirely. Did you even hear what I said?
It was like entirely in the back of my head, yes.
No.
What?
No. You said when you said you felt like a Pornhub slut, I said, damn, who the fuck were you getting dicked down by? Was it Johnny Sins?
Johnny Sins.
Yeah, the best doctor known to man.
Yeah, like like the best doctor, astronaut, lawyer, pawn shop owner.
Every fucking thing.
Yeah, he's like the Renaissance man of the modern age. But the moment that I knew we were gonna do this right was the finishing segment.
I will say this before we get to the finishing segment. When I gave you the shapeshifter and like I slowed it down, I'm like, I literally just murdered Jake.
Oh no, because my head bounced. I got spiked.
Yeah. Okay, I will say this. Usually when I do the shapeshifter, I don't spike your head.
No, like you usually it's a very protective, safe move.
Yeah, yeah, sure, I did it one time against Joe, but like I literally asked Joe how he felt, and he said I didn't even feel that. And then I remember trying to think of the name for that DDT, and I was like, I know I'm gonna get shit for this because at the time I used shapeshifter.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, why don't I just call it that? And then Jake goes, you know what? That's a good idea. We're just gonna call it that. But there's one thing I want you to clarify for the people watching at home.
Yes.
How did you come up with the name for the K&K?
We both did, and we came up with it, and then 5 seconds later, we just both forgot it, and we've never tried to think about it since.
It's like it was something that we just came up with. It took a while to think about, like, what to call it. And then I remember, like, just the words K&K, and I'm like, that actually works, and now it's stuck. And then
it just stuck.
Speaking of the K&K,
Oh yes.
do you remember my match at Destiny with Blaze?
Oh yes.
Do you remember?
Wait a minute.
Go on.
Wait a minute.
You know what I'm gonna say?
It was a brutal K&K. It was a.
But I'm talking about the one that you cut to commercial afterwards.
Oh yeah, that K&K.
Yeah.
Well, that K&K was really brutal because we had to cut it because Blaze got, and Blaze was a bit knocked out of that one. And what that means is, I don't want to talk about it. It was just too, you know.
And I'm going to say this for the person that said that I was mid. I agree. I think I am mid. Some people has their different thoughts and feelings about it. Some people say I suck. Some people said I'm good. And then you have that motherfucker who says I'm mid. I mean, you call me whatever the fuck you want.
I mean, okay.
Unless your name on Instagram is TittyMaster42069, which I am so happy I did that one day when I fucking hacked into his account and fucking just deleted the whole thing. Because you already knew that man, or no, it was a little fucking kid. He literally would have messaged me and just said, "Ha, you lost your world title, you stupid bitch. I knew you fucking suck. Now go retire."
Okay, no. But the finish of the match was obviously a tribute to Brody Lee.
Which I will say this once again, I will take credit for the finish of that match because I came up with it for Jake.
Originally, it was going to be like a top rope headshot.
Yeah, no, it wasn't gonna be it was gonna be the middle rope headshot.
But then when it's like Brody Lee.
Yeah, because I remember I asked Jake because we were training that day trying to figure out the finish, and I was like, Jake, who isn't Brody Lee one of your favorite wrestlers of all time?
He's like in my top 5, yeah.
Yeah, you said yeah, and then I was like, just do his fucking clothesline lariat that he does. You said, are you sure? And I'm like, Jake, yes. And you were like, all right. And I was like,
now there's also, I want to tell this a little bit of a side story.
Go ahead.
It's about Brody Lee's death, and I think you know what I'm talking about.
That happened?
It was the fact that the day that it happened, we were together. We were hanging out with Titan and Asian and Gallatin.
I remember that we were at Walmart.
At a Walmart, and we're walking through because like we both like figures. Like we're like wrestling figures. We sometimes go hunting together, and
not all the time though.
And we got the news like, hey, Brody Lee died.
Yes, I remember I checked my phone. That's like the first thing I saw, and I was like, no fucking way. And
I was quiet.
And you looked at me straight in the fucking face, and you just said, are you being serious? I said, look. And then you were like, you literally just got so sad. And like,
well, because, okay, like summer of 2020 when I was like getting back into wrestling, like Brody Lee and the Dark Order was like, I'd always loved Luke Harper.
Yeah.
I always thought that like Luke Harper could have been like a big player, but like they never let him be a big player. And when he was Mr. Brody Lee, I was like, this is what he was meant to be. This is perfect. And just Brody Lee was just one of a kind. And I'm
going to ask you this question. I know this is your podcast, but I got a question for you, Jake. All right. If you had to go off of like the best like performers like you've seen in Backyard, who was like your top 3 or top 5?
That's a pretty good question.
I know like you used to watch Backyard Wrestling, which we all have. We're all guilty of it, like KBW and MEBW.
Oh no, like I get like right now or like all time.
We'll say all time.
Well, for me, Backyard goes a long way back. I know he's a pro now.
Are you talking about Cage?
No, Cage is also one of them. But
yes.
Matt Cross, M-Dog 20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like he's arguably I would say Delta.
Yeah. I would love to meet Delta though.
Delta is somebody that even though I don't know him and I have my little thoughts kind of because like I don't really know the guy.
Yeah.
I do respect his wrestling quite a bit. I think he's great.
There's one Backyard performer that I
Yes. Now, folks, you have to love Wi-Fi.
Oh, my fucking phone literally just closed out the fucking thing. Sorry. It's done the entire time. No, it's good. It would be
cool.
It'd be Jake Frost.
Jake Frost?
Jake Frost. He wrestled in W, and he originally got his start. And I'm pretty sure somebody can quote me on this or correct me. It was J&A's when he got his first start.
And that's a good one. And I would say my other third. I'm not trying to be biased.
Hmm.
Mitch.
Oh, I thought you were going to say me. I was going to say, well, thank
No,
you.
you'll be there one day. I think.
I think I'll never be there.
I'm certainly never going to be there.
No,
I
you know what? No, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to say this, Jake. When you were in TPW, literally, in my opinion, like you were probably the best wrestler on the roster.
uh,
You like it's no disrespect to any of them, but like when I first seen you and like I was like, okay, I know Jake's wrestled before because I know he said he used to train a lot. Actually, I know you did because
I did.
you used to have the little small 12x12 ring.
We built a little one. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I seen you like come out like your promos and like your work in TBW. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is by far the best wrestler I've seen in TBW so far.
Well, you know, it's a funny story. Is
Mm,
I showed up that day, and everybody was doubting me.
yeah.
They were all calling me names, and like what normally happened, pretty much there. And I remember one of them. I won't name his name. He's a prominent guy. He's like, "Man, who is this? This guy's nothing."
I'm pretty sure I know who you're talking about.
And I have the match.
Hmm.
I walk back through, and I hear this same guy say, "Jake's a star."
So since I do have a question,
Yeah.
and I hate to bring up your past, but
No, go ahead.
when you were in TBW,
Yes.
I don't know if this question has ever been brought up to you or if you ever talked about it. How was the ring when you were in it?
Painful.
Painful?
It had no give. The ropes weren't really bounceable. Um, I spiked my head one time on that mat. Yeah, just it was a. I mean, it wasn't the worst thing I ever felt, but it was kind of close to it.
Yeah.
And I would say that I don't. It's hard sometimes to like like remember the feeling of it,
Okay.
but the feeling that I get when I think about it now is pain.
And I have a follow up question because
Yes, go ahead.
I would like to know this. I'm pretty sure you told me before, but I've been bashed in the head by a lot of things since I've been UWA. AKA, I'm gonna say this. I love you, Joe, but when you hit me in the head with the world title, you actually concussed me for like the rest of that night.
Oh yeah, that is true.
I remember like my pupils were big when I was trying to sleep. I was having like I felt like I was gonna vomit. Like I had a concussion that night.
Yeah.
And then yeah, he actually hit me in the head with the world title. But the question I wanted to ask you, Jake, what inspired you to come up with doing the headshot lariat? Like where did you get like the idea for it? How did you get the name?
Well, I was thinking because I knew that at that time because I was larger and I didn't have like a lot of strength in me yet.
Mm-hmm.
That I can't do is like my original finish that I want to do in wrestling. You know that okay, Tyler Bate does it. It's like that. It's that power bomb where like he holds their arms up like a pedigree and like flips them over like into a power bomb.
Okay, yeah.
I one day I still want to do that move, but for now, I was like, what is something that is so simple but that can still hurt that you could see somebody doing in a real fight?
Yeah.
And I saw the clothesline from hell, and I'm like, what if you turn that around and did a headshot? And I was like, well, wait a minute, because like the J.K. Howell character was based on like serial killers and people like that.
Yeah.
So it was like, what if it's from behind where nobody can see it?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the headshot,
Okay.
and I like it. It's fun.
Yeah, I felt the headshot a lot.
Yes, headshot is
And then
it's
I
very
and then I felt your
the new
now
one.
correct me if I'm wrong, Jake, but MFG stands for Made for Greatness, right?
It does.
Yeah, where did you come up with the MFG cutter, if you don't mind?
Every day before school, when I was growing up. My mom would say, "You are made for greatness."
Okay.
And the cutter, to be honest with you, came from some drama with Max Chaos. I
You
was
bitch.
I was feeling particularly angry.
Yeah.
Now it just comes from the fact that I like the Ace Cutter and like the Ace Crusher and all that.
Yeah.
But um, I always wanted to do a cutter. Actually, I wanted to do like the RKO and TBW,
Really.
but I thought they're never going to let me do it.
I mean, looking at like what everybody's finish is like now, like currently in TBW, you should really had no problem doing it.
Yeah,
I mean, look, I like here's the thing. I understand like my finisher, the K&K, is not creative, nor is the shapeshifter, but for good God, when you call something what it actually is, like the figure four, like I'll give respect for using it. But like when you have a guy like Ledger who does the curb stomp and calls it the blackout, like I don't know if that's what it was originally called. I don't know. I don't know about that one, but
it
still,
might
I
have
mean, I
been.
could expect it. It might have been.
Yeah, because Seth Rollins was Tyler Black, and he used something called the blackout.
Yeah. Was it the curb stomp or was it
I think it
something
might have
different?
been the curb stomp. Yeah.
Well, anyway, but still, I mean, I know my finish isn't the most creative when it's just like a V triggered, but like still,
Yes.
funny thing is, I hate to go back to Unleashed from like a year ago, but like after that match was over with and my buddy Nate saw that match, you know what the first thing he said to me was,
What?
"You did way too many V triggers." I'm sitting here like, well, yeah. Well, you got to figure. Here's the thing: like, it's my debut. I'm nervous as shit. I don't really know what to do. And then I had Jared on the outside going for just yelling out K and K, and I'm like, I can't do the same move every fucking 30 seconds, Jared. I'm sorry.
He was like CJK and K.
And I'm sitting here like, I love you, Jared, but like,
No.
you know how boring that move would have been after a while? Like, you know how stale that would have been if I'd done it the entire time I was in that fucking battle royal?
Yes.
Yeah, like that move would have been so stale and I could not have used it today. But eh, actually, I want to be honest with you. I actually enjoy doing the shapeshifter a lot more than the K&K.
Why is that?
Well, like I mentioned, I don't know if I already mentioned this, but I'm pretty sure I did. I have a fucked up left knee.
Yes.
And literally when I do it, I like my left knee is the one that goes on the mat. So like every time like after it's over with, I don't know if you've noticed this, but I've been limping a lot because of that.
That is true.
Like and like Jake's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's just where I have a fucked up left knee." Which is funny because I've had people come up to me and say, "You do a V trigger, but yet you have a fucked up left knee." And I was like, fuck it, who cares?" But no, the shapeshifter I enjoy because I took a lot of. It's just I just love the fucking future shock.
Yes.
Like I'm not gonna sit here and just steal like the go to sleep or anything like that. So, because trust me, if I did the go to sleep, thank God for invention of knee pads.
Oh yeah.
Because like, did you say something? You cut out if you did.
But um I'll tell
Okay, he
you
cut out.
this. No, I'm right here. Um
Oh, you did cut out for a moment. That's why I was asking.
I I said fuck that.
Oh,
But okay. I guess I guess we can get on to something a bit different now
sure.
because this is kind of a I guess this is a question that I guess people would like to know
Okay.
because I've gotten it a lot. Like about you.
Oh, here we go. What is
I'll
the question?
I'll say it first. People are like, how does he prepare for a match?
How do I prepare for a match?
And I tried to describe it as he gets quiet, but then like the moment his music hits, he's like, let's just fucking do it.
Okay. Well, before when I prepare myself for that filming day when I know I'm competing, Jake will literally agree with this. I usually have a like rock music or some sort of other music kind of playing also on the,
Yes.
because it gets my mind focused on the match itself, and then I sit there and think about what I like to execute during the match and how I could make it a decent looking or a good looking match. And then when we get to the arena, I like, you can ask Jake. Sometimes I either put my gear on in the arena, but most of the time I always come prepared to have my gear on to go.
Yeah, he will come out of the house and go to McDonald's wearing the knee pads and the kick pads and the hoodie.
And the hood, not the mask, because people think I'll be fucking robbing them. But like, yeah, yeah, usually the kick pads, knee pads, and hoodies on. The question I get a lot though, Jake.
What?
How do I wrestle in a hoodie?
I've wondered that.
And then another question that was brought up to me was, how do you breathe out of that fucking mask?
I've also wondered that.
Okay, well, I don't know. Like, when I was in school, I always wore hoodies. And when I went to do like gym class, and then I worked out, I always wore a hoodie, and I kind of adapted to wearing it. But when it comes to the mask, I don't know. Like, it just feels like it's natural for me to like breathe in that mask. But like, let me tell you this: the FD mask, of how that was designed and done. Oh boy, was I happy to get out of that fucking thing. Jesus, like, I feel like I had a fucking high for about like 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, okay. So that was spray painted.
Yeah, that was
And
that was spray painted.
I'll admit I had a hand in it.
Yeah.
I tried to seal it, but I didn't seal the back.
Yeah, that's what really fucked me up.
Yeah, so that was my bad. So CJ wrestled the FD match a little bit high.
But yeah, people will sit here and say that was probably my best match I've had so far.
Someone told me it was my best match. Someone even told me it was the best UAA match that they've seen, which I disagree with.
There's been a lot of good matches in UWA though. There was you and Mayhem's match, which I still love that match.
It's a good memory for me.
The story of that, I love the what all happened and transpired. I loved the ending of you hitting me in the head with his bat. I was sitting here like, holy shit. Like, I couldn't, like, it was kind of like hard for me to say anything. Like, I couldn't be judgmental about it, because usually, and Jake, you don't know about this, but you might. I'm usually judgmental on like some of the matches that we put out.
Yes,
because like I remember
but all in the name of like constructive criticism.
Yes, because we all have our opinions about everything.
Yes.
Like, I remember the most recent one I had was the I love Chance and Jared both. I love them both to death. Don't get me wrong. I do.
Yeah, me too. They're my bumpers.
I thought they had a good match, but when it came to the spot where Jared was trying to cut Chance's hair, and I'm sitting here like, why did this man give him school fucking scissors?
Okay. I could have given him like an actual shaver.
If you would have done that, that could have been a lot better, because Chance already done said before that match happened that he was going to go get a haircut.
However,
which it really wouldn't have mattered, but it would have been hard to style the way.
The bad news is we only have 2 shavers. One is for the dogs.
And one is for your balls. Right, got it.
No. But I was trying to figure out if the one that I wanted to use was it's like a little blue shaver. And I was trying to figure out, okay, there's like enough batteries. Then I looked in it, there's no batteries. I'm like, shit, do we have any batteries? And I'm like, no. It's fucked. Okay. So then I got to give them I gave them a pair of these blue scissors.
Yeah, they were literally fucking school scissors, Jake.
Which is my bad. I'll take credit for that one. That was my bad.
Well, is this fucking R-Truth? That's on me.
That's on me.
My bad.
But okay, what happened pretty much with that, I could tell he was struggling, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, like, how do you think I felt like being behind the camera? Because I literally got up and close for that. I was like, damn, this is gonna be something amazing.
By the way, also, you mentioned the Mayhem match. I want to point something out to you that you might never have known.
Yes, you got caught in barbed wire. I knew that.
No, it was something different.
Oh, well, what was it?
there was a symbolic thing, and you know what? I'll just address this right now.
Go
Actually,
ahead.
leading up to before I had to retire for a little bit, everybody was noticing that there was flashes of mayhem on like the screen.
Yep.
That started at the first Underground Rules, and there's something by it. When I hit him with the bat, and the match ended, and you know this,
Hmm.
my lip was trembling, and like my face was like I had just seen something like fucked up.
Yeah.
And the way I took it as was because nobody like no one ever thinks about this side of wrestling, right?
Hmm.
But in kayfabe, you are beating somebody to the point where they can't get up.
Right.
And the Howl character at that point was a very vulnerable person, somebody who'd been through a lot, who was trying to make good of himself, and he had to dig down deep to be something that he used to be, and that was violent.
Yeah.
So when I did that and it was all happening, covered in blood, trembling, crying, I looked at it as kind of a moment of what have you become? Because like the big thing in the horror films is like when fighting a monster, do not become the monster. And in that moment, Jake Howell was the monster because he
Yeah.
beat a man into unconsciousness. And that
You know.
was
You know
yes.
what's funny though? You know
What?
what's funny?
What?
Okay, I hate to interrupt because when you were telling that, but
Yes.
the thing that really got to me the most was the days leading up to FD. If we thought about changing DL to,
Yeah.
I like how I think it was Dale. I think he looked at all of us and said, "How much of a swerve would have been if Jake was DL this entire
People have told me that. They've been like, "Are you DL?"
I'm sitting here like,
No.
first of all, no, but second of all, the plot twist of the century that would have happened if Jake Howell was found out to be my fucking brother.
Would it have been a shock? Yes.
Oh,
But
that would have been the biggest shock we've had so far.
I mean, there have been a few times in UWA that I've wanted to turn heel.
Yeah, and I think the biggest shock, in my opinion, was this is my opinion. This anybody has their own opinion, but the biggest shock, in my opinion, was probably the day where I found out I was going to win the world title.
That was a big shocking day.
Like I know people were like, "Oh, Joe's going to retain," and then he had some people's like, "Nah, you know what? CJ's going to win this."
It was a genuinely divisive moment.
However, though, watching Hell Frozen Over against Joe, that one dude in the comments that said I was the GOAT, it's Hanzo. I appreciate you.
Hanzo's a good guy.
I respect that you think I am. I do, and I thank you. But like I don't think I am, no. But you want to call me the GOAT, and if you believe I am, then so be it. You have your beliefs and I have mine, but I respect you for thinking that I am. And if however for some reason I am the best wrestler in UWA, which is fucking false.
Uh,
And I'm not gonna toot anybody's horn here, but in my opinion, the best wrestler in UWA right now, and I'm gonna say this, I think it's you, Jake.
no,
I
no.
I'm not gonna kiss your ass. I'm just gonna be as a fan perspective. I think it's you.
I don't know why.
I don't know. It's just something about like the way you carry yourself into a match and how you perform. It's just I think you are. Because like there's like I remember at Unleashed, in the live chat, somebody was when you got eliminated, they go, "Well, they eliminated their best worker."
What the? Oh yeah, someone did do that.
I'm sitting here like, well, I mean, I agree. I do think Jake's the best worker we have because Jake literally puts his all on every fucking thing, whether that be editing, whether that be coming up names for the show, storylines, wrestling in general. Jake has a lot of heart for a lot of things. So I mean, I just think it's you. I don't think it's anybody else. I'm not even gonna put myself even up there
In
for that.
my opinion, and I'm gonna say this without trying to kiss his ass. I think there's three.
Okay.
I think it's you. I think it's Blaze, and I think it's honestly, and I say this to him even though he doesn't really wrestle that much, Mason.
Okay. Now I just have one question.
Yeah,
Why do you think it's me?
there's a. You say I carry myself. There's a certain way that you carry yourself to where I call it the Taker effect, to where you make it so interesting that you don't have to do too much when you're in the ring, but like you do, and it makes it even better.
Okay.
That's just my opinion. Like I think that when you are in there, it's a very interesting story
It's a,
because
a very, as a fan standpoint, because I do watch our shows as like a fan. When I see the whole like the CJ character in a match with somebody, I'm like the arena has a calm but eerie feeling to it at the same time.
and that's something else. Like the arena has a big part to deal with some of this
Yeah.
because we are in the process of kind of renovating the arena.
Can I say this?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Can I mention how many times I've thought of how many theme songs I've wanted to use?
Oh, this has been there like 20, 20
I
of them.
I remember when I was trying to figure out how to debut what song to use. And then I kept telling Jake, no, it's this one. And the next
No,
day
it's
it's no,
that
it's
one.
this one. And then I remember I was like, you know what? Final decision. I'm using Shapeshifter by Bad Wolves. And well, it stuck. But the theme song I used at FD,
Toast to the ghost.
that I will say this, and I'm pretty sure that was literally the hardest thing I had to think about for the entire like either like a month or 2 months leading
Yes,
to
it was
FD.
every time that we talked, and every time like I saw you, it was like okay,
Like
shapeshifter or toast to the ghost.
it was either I just used my original theme, I just used Shapeshifter that way, everybody knows, okay, here he comes. But I was like, what is something that could excite them and be like, oh shit. And then
Chumbawamba.
it'd be funny
What?
if the commentator Cletus, right?
Yeah.
What
What?
if what if he made his debut at UWA and fucking he used the thing? Okay, you remember Safari Ape of how he used Rock Your Roll McDonald's? what if what if Cletus came out to Rock and Roll McDonald's?
We are using rock and roll McDonald's one day.
Okay,
Once again,
I'm gonna ask this from a fan standpoint. Are we
yep,
ever to see Safari Ape again?
he died.
Yeah, but he can be brought back from the dead, right? We can just
There's like a
sacrifice.
Michael Jackson zombie thriller dance.
I remember when you first came, whenever fucking Safari Ape first came out during Unleashed.
And ET was back to like the safari ape.
I remember I think I looked at ET and I just seen like Logan just peeking his head out of the curtain, just laughing. I'm sitting here like, what in the flying fuck is this?
Well,
Now people don't know this. The only reason why we had like Safari Ape and Pizza Ape is because Little Mike and Redneck Mayhem was supposed to be there, but due to work, they unfortunately could not be there.
which that would have been a completely different match if they would have been there.
Dude, in my opinion, I think Joe wouldn't have won that day if those two would have been there.
Well, because okay, you know what?
Knowing you probably would have gave it to Mayhem.
I would have.
Because
Like,
I
in
feel like
fact,
if
like
Mayhem could come back, he should get a world title push or something.
I want him to. But the idea, and this is something that he will hear about now, and he'll be like, "Really, Bubba?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I'll say that if he wouldn't have retired, he would have beaten Joe for it, and then he would have beaten me in the Underground Rules match.
But here be the question though. Here's the kicker: who would he have dropped it to?
I guess we'll never know.
I think Mike would have been a good person, or somebody like Buzzsaw, or
Buzzsaw, maybe.
I'm not going to toot my own horn here, but maybe me.
It would have been a good passing of the torch moment then.
Yeah.
But it would have been, his time. And if he ever did try to come back full time, I would try to give it to him because that guy. And Bubba, if you listen to this, you are my guy.
I will say this: I do love Mayhem a lot.
I love him. Went to war with him, but I love him, man. He's great.
That's like with me and you. Like me and you literally murdered each other for about almost an hour, but I still love you at the end of the day.
Oh no, of course. You're my brother.
Speaking of that match,
oh no,
I think you know what I'm about to bring up in a second. Do you recall the next day where I complained about something hurting?
Yeah, your ass.
This man,
I
I,
hit him with a cookie sheet in the
dude,
ass cheek, and he
it
complained
was
about it.
it was my right ass cheek, and I didn't feel the time like my adrenaline was pumping and shit. And then
City of Compton.
and then I woke up the next day. I'm like, God damn, my fucking right ass cheek is hurting. And I remember my fiance looking at me like, "Did you get fucked at the show?" And I'm like, "No." She literally looked at me and said, "Yeah, did you get like fucked by the whole like everybody over there?" I was like,
Why
"No."
would she say that? Actually, knowing her, she would say that. She'd say that.
Oh, I wasn't surprised when she said it. I laughed for about a minute, then I had to fucking stop laughing because my fucking ass cheek was hurting and my fucking chest was hurting for that. I just remember just sitting there, just like the next day I
What
woke up,
happened?
my right ass cheeks killed me. I'm like, what the fuck happened? And then when
When
that
the
match
show came out.
started, yeah, when the show came out, like when you were like sitting there with the cookie sheet and like you bashed your fucking head against it and you hit me again, that was the spot where my ass was fucking killing me afterwards. Believe it or not, I didn't really have like a lot of pain in that match. I would say the most things that happened to me was definitely you hit me in the balls,
Mm-hmm.
and then you hit me on the ass. Why the ass?
I
Just
was I wasn't trying to get you there actually. I,
but
I was trying to hit you in like the back,
Jake, you could have went full force on my back, and I wouldn't have cared.
but I don't know why somehow the ass came into effect.
Yeah, somehow I don't know why my balls came into factor, Jake, but it did anyway.
Okay, I'm sorry,
God damn! I have a 2 month
but
old little girl, and yet I want to try for a boy in like the next 2 or 3 years, and this man hits me in the fucking nuts.
I didn't know. Also, congratulations.
I
But
remember, I remember the day that I got engaged, man. I was I
that
was
was a very. I was happy for you guys.
I was nervous about doing that at first because I remember Katie, fuck it, who cares? She would jokingly ask about like a ring,
She
like a lot,
would.
like it was a lot. Like it wasn't like her being serious. It was her just like messing with me about like see if I'd actually do it. And then I remember that day, like I went there, I got the ring, and I'm like, now because I'm gonna say this, the original plan was I proposed to her while we were all there for FD.
Really?
You didn't wait. I didn't tell you.
You never told me.
Yeah, so the original idea was for me to, if
Well,
she was,
shit. Why didn't you say so?
because the original idea was for me to propose to her at FD while all of us were there. But then something in me just said, "Let's just do it. Let's just do it tonight." So I did.
What a moment.
What a moment that would have been if I would have gotten engaged at
FD.
at FD.
But okay,
You guys,
I think that right now we'll do this and then we'll end it.
all right.
I'm gonna do this because I personally believe this is a moment where we can talk about anything.
Okay.
I know that we as a promotion have we are young. We are almost a year old.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to ask just what has been the best moment in your perspective? Because I have my answer.
The best moment in my perspective.
Yeah.
I have a few
But
more actually
like
more like
your top moment.
my top moment.
Yeah.
I would say honestly, it was probably just the reveal.
DL.
No.
Oh, like
W.
the actual reveal.
The actual reveal for the show, the ring, the belt, like that was probably my favorite moment.
Because in actuality, everybody didn't know what the fuck I was gonna do.
Yeah, and then my other favorite, I'm gonna say this is my other favorite moment. This is not even including me. It was just somehow, in some way, getting little Mike in WA. Which I'm gonna say this. Me and him had talks about him coming to UWA because he wanted to. It's just I never told you, Jake, because you'd be like, "Really?" I wanted you to be surprised about him coming.
and 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 I was.
And then I remember when he came
Fuck
back,
yeah.
and then I remember when he came back at the jamboree and he used fucking when he used that song, as I remember
We were both back there like jumping.
dude, I like the little like I remember watching Mike when I was like younger than what I am now when I didn't know who the fuck he was. Like Mike was my favorite wrestler in TBW for the time. I enjoyed his character. I enjoyed his work. And then just hearing that song, I was like, oh my fucking God, yes. But yeah, probably my best moment is probably the reveal. What's been your favorite moment since we've been almost on for a year?
Um, it wasn't a moment in the show per se, even though all of it has been a good moment for me.
Yeah.
It was the moment after the jamboree
Oh, really?
when everybody was looking around and we all looked at each other and we just smiled
That
because we knew we had made something special.
yes.
And everybody, when I won the jamboree, everybody was just I
Can
can't remember what happened,
can we
but
talk about that for a minute, please?
yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So before the jamboree actually happened, it was obviously in the works. We were talking about it. We
Yeah.
just didn't know who was going to win because before that, before Max
All the
Chaos
bullshit.
left, it was supposed to be Max Chaos.
Yes,
Max,
he was going to win the jamboree.
but when he left, we were just struggling. We were like, who should win the jamboree? And then I remember talking to Jared, and I was like, I think Jake is the good option. I remember telling you about that, and the first thing you said was, I can't. And I'm like, Jake, everybody would love to see a comeback story from you. Like, everybody would love to see this. And you're
Well,
like,
because like funnily enough, like you said that, and like the next day was like the day that I asked like a doctor.
yeah,
Like
like you asked the doctor, like, if you can go, and they said, yeah. Wait, what was the exact words they said?
there's like as long as you're careful, as long as you know your limits, go ahead.
Funny thing is, it's funny that they say as long as you know your limits, even though this man literally went to war with me for about an hour.
That is my limit. But
Shit, I don't even know what my limit was going to be.
honestly, I thought about Buzzsaw.
Yeah. Honestly, can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I thought about having Blaze win it.
That was somebody else too, but it was something like, oh, if Buzzsaw, because Buzzsaw works,
Yeah, he works a lot. Unfortunately, he
and
can't be there all the time.
if he was there all the time, then I would not be the champion right now.
No.
I would not be the champion right now.
Hell, even if Buzzsaw wasn't going to win it, I wouldn't have been the world champion at FD. It'd be Chaos.
Yeah, Chaos would be the champion, right?
Chaos would
right
have been
now.
the WA world champion. And like this whole thing between me and Jake, obviously the storyline would have been there about me destroying his company, but like
I wouldn't have led the charge.
Yeah, the home invasion probably scratch that. The home invasion would never have happened,
which is a shame.
Which would have been a shame.
But
I'm glad it worked out in the end. It sucked losing Chaos, but like I'm glad that we rebutted and figured out something.
We had to, and getting Jared back and getting everybody involved, and that was a moment in time where everything felt like it was all worth it. Like all the pain and the struggles and the friendships that were lost and the sleepless nights and the tears. It's all felt worth it.
Can I tell him a side story?
What's the side story?
Oh, you're gonna get pissed.
Well, then don't do it.
No, okay, I just want to see what you would say if you know what I'm going to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know what I'm talking about, you cut me off.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there was one day where I said the night with Jake.
Nope.
And it was 3:00 in the morning.
Because I'll tell it.
You know what? You go ahead.
Because I'm going to clear the air.
But all I'm going to sit here and say was we were playing GM mode at 3:00 in the morning. Jake, go ahead, finish.
It was SVR 08. We were playing GM mode. As a joke, I thought it'd be funny to talk about dicks.
This man had an unhealthy obsession to talk about penises at 3:00 in the morning for about a half an hour.
Because when I get tired, I think like I talk about things that I find very funny.
Why penises, Jake?
They're just weird. like they're just weird looking little things.
Like, out of all things that you could have talked to me about for 30 minutes, you chose penises.
because I thought it was funny.
You could have talked about potential storylines. You could have talked about
But like that
anything.
night we did that. I think that was the night that we like revealed it.
I think it was I don't know if it was or if it
was June
like,
21st. Was the day after.
I just remember you talking about dicks at 3:00 in the morning. I'm sitting there like I'm like, keep in mind, like I'm half awake, and we're just like sitting there on his couch,
going to SummerSlam,
playing GM mode, eating fucking Pop-Tarts at 3:00 in the morning.
We were eating Pop-Tart,
eating fucking nacho cheese Doritos, and for some reason, fucking sour cream and onion chips. And then I'm just sitting there just eating, and then Jake just goes, "I found you know what's funny? Dicks." And I'm like, "What?"
I did.
What?
It's funny. Dicks are funny.
This man would be like, "No, I'm gonna say this. Fuck it." He was booking Big Daddy V, and he goes, "I bet Big Daddy V has a small penis." I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Dude, he probably did.
And then this man would just sit there and laugh about how small Batista's dick is for like 20 minutes.
Because there's a joke on like the Conrad Thompson podcast, like, how big is Batista's dick? And I'm like, how small is it?
No, because somebody asked Hornswoggle how big his dick was.
And Hornswoggle.
And then
he's like, I don't know.
And then it wasn't like Who's in the Bag. It was another one where like he'd hold up an object and
it's like a big black dick.
Yeah, it was like a small fucking black dick. And the first name that I heard was Shelton Benjamin. I lost my
Who said that?
I don't remember who said that, but
I know what you're talking about, but like who? Because like that'd be so funny.
I don't remember who it was, but I remember hearing Shelton Benjamin, and then he pulled out like this fucking like poo thing, and he goes, "Oh, Randy Orton, he shan't Kelly's gym bag." I'm sitting here like, this is great content.
But okay, with all of that being said, I think we could do another one of these one day, just telling stories.
You know, I mean, we could. I think we should do one like a few months down the line, like after
everything.
Yeah, maybe like in October or some shit we can do.
Or maybe sooner than that. It's just kind of a thing. But this has been quite a journey. People have now found out some things that they've never heard before.
Yeah, me and Jake are actually best friends in real life.
We are.
We're arch.
We talk every day
and story. So yeah.
The amount of things that people still don't know.
Well, you can hear about it next time.
It's stuff for another time.
Yep.
That being said, I would like a fancy outro. Have a good day. Have a good night. Pray to whatever you want to pray. Do whatever you want to do.
And don't talk about dicks at 3:00 in the morning.
Just don't be a dick. But goodbye. Say goodbye, everybody. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye. Bye. Fuck. Bye.